Hey, yo, what up? I'm Josh Martinez of the Superstar Crossover Podcast in New York City with iHeartRadio with my guest, Kris Statlander. What's going on, girl?
Oh, nothing much. Just sitting in my hotel room.
Getting ready. Sunday, Double or Nothing, sold out. Not that far from where you grew up on Long Island. Where was it? West Islip that you grew up?
Yes.
So, what was life like in West Islip?
I feel like it was pretty normal. It's not I feel like Long Island is a very like chill place, especially like out East Long Island. Suffolk County is very just kind of like not quite beach town, but not or like closer to the border of Nassau, Suffolk. It's very like super suburb. So it was just kind of very chill childhood life, I would say.
I lived out in Selden and Coram for about a year and a half, 2 years.
Okay.
So I was out there.
Yeah, I was like, that's way more east.
Out there. It was a different
Yeah.
world compared to like Staten Island where I live and grew up.
Hmm.
Is it true that your mother was a music teacher?
That is correct. Yeah, she worked for this program that sent teachers to Catholic schools that didn't offer music as a program. So she worked at like a bunch of different Catholic schools from like I think like kindergarten to eighth grade. So she worked with those kids for like a very long time. Plus, she also started like doing NISMA coaching and then private lessons and whatnot. So she still does some private lessons now if anybody needs a music teacher, tutor.
What did you play instruments growing up?
I did. I played the viola for from second grade to I think eighth grade, and then I got a little bit more invested in gymnastics. So that kind of took over. But I was also was in chorus until 11th grade. Um, and I remember I think it was like second grade is when we all got our first like recorders or something like that. And my mom gave me and a couple of my friends like private lessons before we started in school so that we'd be like ready to go. So
And also not annoying as hell in the house, just blowing away on a recorder.
no, not in a musical household.
So you mentioned gymnastics, and I know like interviews are supposed to be about you, but I got a 2.5-year-old daughter, and I always
Mhm.
ask every celebrity I interview, every artist I interview, every wrestler I interview, what sport do you think I should try to get my daughter in first, and why is it gymnastics?
So I didn't want to do gymnastics. I wanted to do karate. Um, but my mom was like, you should do gymnastics. It's just like it. She didn't know what she was talking about. But one of our very good friends was already in gymnastics also, like same age as me. So because we already kind of had someone like in that avenue, she just kind of put me in there. And I started with dance originally. So I did like ballet for like 2 years and then tap for a year. And then when I was like 6, I switched to gymnastics. So, even though, like I said, I wanted to do karate, I still kind of wish in my heart that I did martial arts, and I'm like now as an adult looking more into it. But I do think gymnastics is very good. Any sort of like disciplinary sport in a way that like you have to learn how to use your body, I feel like is such a benefit for children and just learning basic coordination. You'd be surprised how many people as an adult don't have a lot of like don't know how to use their body. And I feel like any sort of sport like that, especially like gymnastics, is so beneficial for long-term things.
There was a video that just went viral, like on social media, because a woman, she was like in her mid
Couldn't
20s.
jump.
Yes.
Yeah, crazy, crazy to me.
And
Um,
then like everybody just showing her how to do it. And then more recently, there was something in regards to like older men don't know how to skip.
yeah,
And then like these women are skipping down like an office. And then like here come the men who look like they're seizing instead of
yeah.
trying to skip.
Yeah, it's and also just like from experience, like sometimes people see wrestling as like this thing, this very showy thing, and then they get to their first day of training and people don't even know how to do a forward roll, which like I get not every day in life you're doing forward rolls and whatnot, but like the fact that you've never like laid down on a ground, it seems it's kind of crazy how much people don't know like their own capabilities of how they can use their body and then they get so far in life and then that this is why they can't move and they can't do anything and it's like I wish more people would take advantage of like the abilities that they have.
Have you ever seen like an NBA player or even like an NFL player throw a first pitch at like a baseball game?
Not sure.
Girl, the form is horrible. And you're talking
Uh,
about like 1% elite athletes who don't even
Yeah.
know how to like properly throw a baseball 50 feet in front of them straight.
Hmm.
So it proves
Yeah.
your point.
Yeah. It's, and like, sure, you can excel. I saw something recently that was like, you got to learn like what sport is right for your body type. And obviously you can excel with that. But I also think like just learning how to like do basic things like a roll, a forward, a back roll, skipping, jumping, like those are like just things in life that your body is so easily capable of. And it's mind blowing to me um, that people never think to ever try those things. And also, here's how to tie it back to wrestling. With my, like, I was a gymnast my whole life. And then I did stunt double training. And then I started wrestling training. And I tore both my ACLs at separate times. And I'm more athletic now coming out of those knee surgeries than I was growing up because, like, I learned how to really like focus on my training and like my athletic ability coming out of those rehab injuries and stuff like that, that it's possible to like even later in life, even after devastating injuries, like it's possible to get back out there and like be better than you ever were. And that's like one thing that I always made sure I was capable of with my wrestling is that like I never wanted to not be able to do something because I have some small holdback that I had. So you're
One thing
capable of
that's
anything.
one thing that stands out about you to me is, I believe on your return back from one of the major knee surgeries, you did sign language at the top of the ramp more than a woman, if I remember correctly. Correct me if I'm
Yes.
wrong, by the way.
I
Okay,
think I said mama's home in one thing.
I'm literally just going off of like pure memory, by the way. So
Yeah.
I'm actually kind of happy I nailed that. But
Mhm.
so you were, and I believe Shivani or someone on commentary made a comment about American Sign Language with you, and you knowing it. Um, why was it important for you to sign those messages on your return instead of your typical wrestling promo? Boom, I'm going to hold a microphone or get close to the camera so that the camera can pick up the audio. Why the sign language?
Um, so I'm not fluent in sign language. I haven't practiced it in a little bit, so I'm not great. One, it's like an easy way to convey a message without having to speak it. Two, I do think it's a little bit of an underutilized thing. And when I was learning a little bit of sign language, I felt like it came easy to me because it's just kind of like learning symbols for words that we already know in English, as opposed to learning another language. And I've in the process of trying to learn a second language after having tried to learn two other languages before. So my brain is all over the place. But I also, the reason why I got the idea to do sign language was because on the independent scene, I used to walk out with my hands like this, or no, like this and this. And this is an F and this is a U in sign language. So to me, it was really funny to be signing FU to everybody, with nobody knowing what it was. And that was just like my little inside joke for myself. But then I was like, I could actually like, say nice things or like do a cool little taunt or whatever, or say more than a woman or mama's home or your TBS champion. That's pretty much what I stuck with because it was easy for me to memorize as I was, thinking about a million other things, making an entrance.
Now, this might be a little bit of a deeper question, but the alien character that you had before the evolution of Kris Statlander,
Hmm.
um, did embracing something so, I guess, unconventional help you become more comfortable, like within yourself as this character?
Absolutely. I always have felt a little bit, not like as an outsider, but just like a little different, a little abnormal, a little out there, a little odd. And I feel like sometimes when you're trying to explain that in words to people that don't really want to take the chance to get to know someone, I feel like just putting yourself out there as like, hey, this is this weird foreign thing. And you're just kind of like, oh, face value, alien, weird, got it, easy to understand. And like kind of not hiding behind that, but using that as a way to like as a platform to portray yourself as your truest honest self, just be like, oh, this is an alien. It's like, okay, I can accept that without having to understand why this normal person would be doing these weird things or act so strangely. So I do feel like it was an easy path for me to get comfortable with just putting myself out there as a performer.
Was it a challenge or difficult to balance kind of that authenticity, all the while your character has evolved from when we first saw you in AEW to like the character you are today?
I So I feel like it's difficult because I've always wanted to never not be myself. But sometimes I'm like, I wish I just did something that's like so not me that I could just turn it on and off and just be I wish sometimes that I was a little bit more of a completely different person when I'm in the ring. So that way I could like have a separate persona and I can like fully dive into it with this way, having come this far, being sometimes a little bit too much myself and very vulnerable. It's a little bit hurtful when people don't accept how you are because you're like, oh, I'm just trying to be myself, and people hate me and people think I'm cringy and I'm stupid and I'm embarrassing. They think I don't know what a character is. They think I don't know any of this stuff. And it's kind of hard to like blur that line between authenticity and a character because I do want to be true to myself and I've never wanted to not be who I am. But at the same time, sometimes being your true self is hard for people to accept, whether it's like I'm not a criminal, but I'm just a little weird sometimes and I do weird things. And sometimes people are like, you want me to respect that person as a champion? So it's like, it's a weird balance looking back on it where it's like, I don't know necessarily if I should have gone even more full-blown alien or if I should have just tried to be Kris Stat the wrestler from the beginning.
When fans started connecting with you going into your comeback for the TBS championship against Jade Cargo, winning the AEW Women's Championship, did it validate that character evolution for you where you were like, oh, I am doing something good? Okay.
A little bit. I also I feel like I don't deserve anything and I feel like I'm capable of everything. It's a really weird thing to kind of like understand how to mesh those two things where I'm like, I do everything that I do because I'm able to and because I love it, but I don't feel like I should like sometimes being put in those top positions and like becoming a champion and whatnot. It's kind of like, why? Why me? What did I do? I'm just over here doing some silly stuff. But it is very validating to be put in those positions, knowing that like people trust you and like they respect you enough and they value your work to think that you can lead the way in a way or be a champion. Yeah.
I'm only smiling and laughing because I had therapy yesterday and literally discussed what you are saying with my therapist. Like,
Yeah,
imposter syndrome comes up at least once a month during my
of,
therapy sessions
of course.
of like, for lack of a better term, I don't deserve shit. But then
Hmm.
if I take a step back and I really have an honest conversation with me, nobody could tell me shit about what I'm doing, right?
Hmm.
But it's like this constant battle within yourself where no one could hurt you more than your own thoughts about yourself.
Absolutely.
How do you try? Because clearly, I think it sounds like you're still kind of going through that a little bit. I know I am. How do you try
Mhm.
to like break through that and be, I guess, kinder to yourself?
One thing I don't like to do is I don't like to necessarily diagnose myself, because then I feel like that's putting a little bit of a mental block on myself. And you know what? Maybe I just need therapy too. I don't see a therapist regularly. Maybe I should. But I do
Highly
feel like
recommend. Highly recommend.
I know it's definitely a very beneficial thing. But I try not to like I have those moments where I'm like, why am I doing this? What's the purpose? Why am I even trying this hard? Or I shouldn't even be put in this position. I feel like these people are doing better than me. And then I have those times where then I'm in a match, then I'm like, I'm gonna do everything possible because I physically can, and that's the reason that I'm here. And I like to try and remind myself that like I literally can do whatever I want. And you know, exercise your free will to a degree. Um, I I'm trying to learn another language. I keep buying like martial art props and like accessories to like bow staffs and nunchucks and stuff like that. And I don't do it consistently, but I practice it a little bit and I can do a few tricks here and there. And I'm like, I can literally just pick up a skill and I can try it, and I'm allowed to do that, and I'm allowed to go out into a wrestling ring and be the best that I can be and put on the best performance of my life every single night that I want. And luckily I'm in a job where I get to, kind of defy the odds and be uh that goal that some people would like to be. So I have to try and remind myself that I'm like, things aren't that bad. You're okay to feel down and feel like you can be doing more, or feel like maybe you don't deserve this. But I also like that, not like degradation, but try and like keep myself humble so that way I know that there's always more to do.
It's funny you use the words get to. You get to do something, and that's something that I'm trying to practice over the last few months. A coworker kind of put me onto that. Don't say you have
Mhm.
to go to the studio. You have to do your night show. You get to do your, and it's like that little subtle difference has made such
Yeah.
a big change in like my mental health.
Hmm.
Of like, I do get to be on the
Yeah.
biggest radio station on the planet.
Hmm. Like anytime, I mean, almost every single wrestler is dealing with some sort of nagging injury, and the second that I'm like a little bit down and out, I'm like, oh my God, all the things that I used to be able to do before the slight tweak in my back or whatever. It's like a constant reminder of like how much privilege you have just being able to walk around and stuff like that. And I try my best to never take advantage of that.
What motivates you now, compared to Kris Statlander that we saw during COVID tapings at Daly's place?
I think my biggest motivation is to just continue being a reason people want to watch. I never want to give people, like, I don't want to make people bored. And I feel like, at least with my wrestling ability, I'm able to do something that's exciting most of the time. So I try to at least do one very exciting thing per match that I do. I just want to, consistency is key, they say, and I want to continuously be a consistent part of AEW and a part of wrestling.
So shifting gears, going back to kind of the topics that we touched upon earlier in the interview, music. What kind of music did you listen to growing up?
So honestly, my mom being a musician, she would perform in orchestras a lot, and she would perform in the orchestra of musicals. So I would listen to a lot of musical soundtracks growing up.
Favorite
And
musical soundtrack? Go.
I love the Scarlet Pimpernel. It's one that I still listen to. It's about the French Revolution. But it's like the music in it is just so like uplifting and just like intense, and I love it. I also like Wicked is a classic, and just with it recently rebooting now, obviously it's so easy to dive back into it. I just love musicals because they're so fun to sing, and it's like you know, it's very like up and down, as it's more telling a story than some other music is. But then on the flip side, my dad was a big country music fan, so we listened to a lot of like Garth Brooks and Alan Jackson and Brooks and Dunn on that. So it was like a really weird combination. And it wasn't until I was in like middle school, high school that I actually like learned what other like pop music and whatnot was. So yeah, and actually, ironically, Z100 was one of my radio stations before we had iPhones. That would be my alarm clock every day was Z100. So full circle moment here.
No, it's dope. Listen, and you waking up with Elvis Duran
Yeah,
is the same way I woke up with Elvis Duran, and to
yeah.
have him as a colleague again goes back to that imposter syndrome stuff where it's like, how
Hmm.
am I like even in the same stratosphere as this man?
Crazy.
So what type of music when you were able to kind of become your own person in middle school, high school? What music were you like heavily into when you were on your own to stream and LimeWire and do whatever you wanted to do?
Uh, Honestly, I was just whatever was popular on the radio. I didn't really branch out much of that. Even like now, I'm very much like whatever the hits are is what I kind of tend to gravitate to. But I do I am one of those people that's like, I like a little bit of everything, but I can like find my vibe in every single type of music. Not to say like I'll listen to every single song an artist has put out because I don't like all the songs. I need to find like the right like melody in my head for me to like a song. And I think that's just because of like the music. Like also with gymnastics with we would have to pick out floor music and you have to listen to the song without the lyrics to kind of like understand like if it has a good beat for your choreography and whatnot. So I listen to the music a little bit differently sometimes. But I also memorize a lot of songs and I sing a lot of songs and I know a lot of lyrics. So I like listen to music in like different ways. And it's but I'm also, I'm very much like I like the hits and I whatever's popular, I enjoy it.
Kris Statlander, the pop girly. That is what is
Kind
that's
of.
that's my takeaway from this.
Yes, yeah. Not necessarily
Yep.
pop music, but whatever is like the best song of each band out there, I'll probably like it. So,
So Double or Nothing this Sunday night, completely
hmm
sold out. Not
yeah.
get on the LIRR, take the 7 train if you wanted to,
hmm
transfer to the 7 rather. Um, do you listen to music before a big match? If so, are you more of an in the mood kind of gal? Like I'm in the mood for rock or I'm in the mood for musicals, or are you strictly this artist, this soundtrack, or this album is what I always listen to?
I'm a in the mood type of person. I have to like I have different like I don't even make playlists. I just like skip songs until I like find the right vibe that I'm looking for. Sometimes I'll be like, "Oh, I'm listening to a little bit more like emo music, a little bit more like, oh, I want like old school, like Green Day, Fall Out Boy, stuff like that. Some days I want to listen to Britney Spears and Dua Lipa. Some days I want to listen to Ricky Martin. Sometimes I want to listen to a little bit more alternative stuff. So it really varies on my mood. But I also am not like a music before a match person. I like to be kind of like chill in the moment, make sure everybody that I'm out there with is feeling good. I like to be more of a support system for everybody that I'm with in that moment as opposed to I need to get in my vibe. I like to make sure I'm accessible for anybody who needs me.
So, who has the best, aside from you, who has the best music taste in the AEW women's locker room?
I don't think I have the best music taste. I think my stuff is not embarrassing. I just don't really like take pride in being like my playlist is the best one. Everybody needs to listen to my playlist. I'm
You
gonna
grew up listening
say
to Z100, so by default, I am going to
okay.
tell you that you have the best
All right.
playlist.
I'm gonna just say Harley Cameron because she's a musician herself and she's also one of my great friends. So her because I can listen to her music.
Do you have, before we wrap things up, final questions? Do you have any personal memories strictly within the 5 boroughs of New York City that you look back at and go, anytime I think of Manhattan, I think of this memory and I love this core moment in my life?
I remember when I first went to the casting networks building because I was signing up to do extra work or background acting for shows and stuff after I started my stunt double training. And that's when I officially was like, oh, I have to like come to Manhattan to do work. And that was a really cool kind of thing. But I also remember my first couple of jobs doing background acting, getting to do a stunt show in Manhattan or like a stunt prank show in Manhattan. My stunt training was right in Greenpoint, so it was like we had a view of the East River and you could see the whole skyline and whatnot. So it was like it was awesome. And I remember that was like the one of the happiest moments of my life up until that point was like finally finding out what I wanted to do, and that was like the stunts. So it was the most painful 3 weeks of my life, but it was like I could not have been happier. I legit had to leave my house out in West Islip at 7 a.m. to make it to Brooklyn by 9 a.m. And this is over the summer too. So there was still bad traffic. Do that drive on the LIE, make it to Brooklyn by 9 a.m., be done with training at 5 p.m., sit in that traffic on the way back home. And I did it 5 days a week for 3 weeks just to go to a warehouse in Brooklyn and get beat up for 8 hours. And then, yeah, it was the best time of my life.
I was gonna say, homegirl had a dream. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Well,
So
one more
that
time,
was it.
Kris Statlander. Appreciate you, girl. Thank you so much.
Thank you.